Sleep never came easily after that first night. Even though the police assured me he was gone, I couldn't shake the image of that face at the glass. His smile was carved into my memory like a scar. Every sound in the house felt louder than it should be. The creak of the walls, the hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the clock. I kept every light on, thinking the brightness would give me comfort. Instead, it only highlighted the shadows that clung to the corners as though something was hiding there, waiting. I lay awake staring at the door, gripping the blanket tight, whispering to myself, "He's gone, he's gone." But I didn't believe it. For days, nothing happened. A strange, hollow quiet settled over my life. At work, I pretended to laugh at small jokes, but my mind was always drifting back home. In the evenings, I'd pace from room to room, checking the locks again and again. I tried to convince myself that maybe he'd moved on. Maybe I'd never see him again. But each time I walked past the window, my breath would catch. My eyes darted outside, scanning the empty yard. I told myself I was being paranoid, yet deep down, I felt it, a silent certainty that he wasn't finished with me. Friday night, everything changed. I was curled up on the couch, half distracted by the television when it came. That sound, that awful familiar scrape like something heavy dragging along the ground. My chest tightened instantly. I knew that sound. I'd heard it before. My heart hammered against my ribs as I froze, listening. The noise came again, closer this time. Against every instinct, I crept toward the curtain and pulled it aside. My stomach dropped. There he was, back again. But this time he looked worse. His clothes were filthy, sleeves torn, patches of dirt and mud smeared across them. His face was thinner, hollow cheeks stretching against his skin as if he hadn't eaten in days. His eyes seemed darker, almost sunken, but his smile was exactly the same. His smile was exactly the same. Wide, crooked, wrong. He wasn't standing far out in the yard this time. No, he was already at the porch. His pale hand pressed firmly against the glass door, fingers splayed like he was testing the barrier that kept us apart. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I just stared as he slowly dragged his hand down the glass. The squeal of skin against the surface made my stomach twist. The streaks he left behind gleamed faintly in the dim light, like claw marks scratched by something inhuman. He wanted me to hear it. He wanted me to know he was touching my home, marking it as if to say, I can come inside whenever I want. My hands shook as I grabbed my phone, nearly dropping it as I dialed 911. My voice cracked, rushed, almost hysterical as I begged them to send someone quickly. I described him again, the way he looked, the way he smiled. The operator's voice was calm, professional. Stay inside. Lock your doors. Help is on the way, but her words barely reached me. They sounded distant, muted, drowned beneath the deafening sound of my pulse hammering in my ears. Then it began. A knock, slow, heavy, deliberate. The sound vibrated through the walls, shaking something deep in my chest. 3 times, then silence. My breath hitched. Another 3 knocks, louder this time, rattling the frame. I could see his silhouette, leaning forward with each knock, his grin widening as if he was enjoying the rhythm, enjoying the way fear rippled through me. His hand slid from the glass to the doorknob. I froze, watching as the metal rattled under his grip. He twisted it slowly, testing it, jiggling it, as though he expected it to give way. The lock held firm, but the sound, the grinding rattle of metal in his hand, was unbearable. He tried again, getting quiet. And again, my whole body screamed at me to run, but I couldn't move. I stood there like prey, staring at the predator just inches away. Suddenly he let go. His shadow shifted. I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, dragging, circling the house. My eyes darted from window to window, desperate to keep track of him, but he was always just out of reach. A glimpse of movement here, a faint reflection there, his presence hovering just beyond the edge of sight. Every floorboard outside creaked under his weight, echoing like whispers through the walls. He was searching for another way in. Then I heard it, a tap. Gentle at first, I turned slowly, dread crawling up my spine. My breath caught in my throat. He was there, at the back window, his face pressed so close against the glass that the fog from his breath smeared across it. His grin was stretched wider than ever, teeth glinting as condensation formed around them. His eyes didn't blink. They locked onto mine with a hunger that made my skin crawl. Far away, faint at first, came the sound of sirens. For a brief, desperate second, I felt relief. Help was coming. But what chilled me most was his reaction. He didn't move. He didn't flinch. He didn't run. He just kept staring at me, face pressed to the glass, grin frozen in place as if he was daring the police to arrive. Only when the red and blue lights began cutting through the trees, splashing against the house, did he finally step back into the shadows, slowly, calmly, as if he was dead, as if he wasn't retreating, but simply biding his time. The officers searched the yard again, flashlights sweeping across the dark grass, their voices carried, firm and commanding, but their beams revealed nothing. Not a footprint, not a smear, not a single sign of him. It was as though he'd melted into the night the moment their lights arrived. I pointed to the exact window where he'd stood, my voice shaking, but when they looked, there was nothing there. The police gave me the same words they'd said before. We'll patrol the area. Keep your doors locked. It's probably just a trespasser. Their casual tone made my blood boil. They didn't understand. This wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. He wasn't just passing through. He came here for me. He wanted me. And each time they left, each time those flashing lights disappeared down the street, I was left alone with the knowledge that he was still out there. That night, I didn't even try to sleep. I sat on the couch with every lamp in the house blazing, gripping a kitchen knife so tightly that my knuckles ached. My eyes never left the door. My ears strained for every sound. A creak, a shuffle, the faint whisper of movement in the yard. Every so often, I thought I saw him. A faint shadow slipping behind a tree, a figure at the fence line. Maybe it was my imagination, maybe it wasn't. The truth was worse. I knew he was out there watching, waiting. Morning finally came. Sunlight bled weakly into the room, pale and gray. I thought maybe I had imagined everything. Maybe the night hadn't been real. But then I saw them. Smudges, fingerprints smeared faintly across the glass exactly where his hand had been. My chest tightened, bile rising in my throat. Proof that he was here. Proof that he touched my home. And in that moment, I realized something far more terrifying than the man himself. He wasn't trying to get in, not yet. He was reminding me he could come back anytime he wanted. And the next time, he wouldn't just smile through the glass.